Okay.
I know, like, I have like 2 verses left to learn.
Pretty amazing.
So make sure you put that page back in the right spot.
Yeah, I will.
On page 49.
Yeah, this was over on the other
What?
beam,
No, one
but
side.
this is what you're reading tonight, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it was over there, so.
No, she's more happy over there.
This is the good side. This is the good side. Think about how imposing he looks right here, right behind his ark.
Well, he looks tiny compared to his baby.
Well, he could stand on this thing if he wanted to.
This tall.
Oh, look, this is like natural.
I ate like a clove of garlic. And a slice of Swiss cheese. Those, oh my god.
They give you $20 coupons.
For what?
Anything in the store.
Wait, Ziggy,
Walgreens?
come over here.
Oh yeah, Walgreens.
Come over here.
I was literally saying
Ziggy,
Wells
Ziggy.
Fargo store?
Ziggy, after I do the whole thing, do I do it one more time? Ziggy, after I do the whole thing, do I do it one more time? Ziggy, after I do the whole thing, do I do it one more time? The entire thing twice? Yeah, sorry. I'm doing the other way. I'm doing the other way. Not Rihanna, that's where she's moving. Really low. Okay.
You realize you're singing to the microphone.
Oh, I just end there. Okay.
class come up for Kiddush. I think that's fair. Don't you think that's fair? If you don't want them, we don't want them. But I thought that would be nice. Yeah, da 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 da, yeah, da 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 da, yeah, da 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 da, yeah, da 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 da, yeah, da 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 da, yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Ezra Stampler's Bar Mitzvah. And believe it or not, Parshat Noach. A little right on the nose tonight, don't you think? All right. We're going to begin our service on page 11, and Ezra's going to get us started.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Naria, naria, litzur yishenu nekadma, fanav betoda. Naria, naria, litzur yishenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Arbaim shana akut bedor ve'amaram to'e levavhem vehem lo yedu derachai asher nishbati abapi aim yavun aminuchati.
Continue at the top of page 13.
Shiru ladonai, shiru shir chadash, shiru ladonai kol haaretz, shiru ladonai, shiru shir chadash, shiru ladonai kol haaretz, shiru ladonai barechu shemo, basrim liyom liyom yeshuato, shiru ladonai barechu shemo, basrim liyom liyom yeshuato.
Continue at the mark on page 14.
Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, umlo, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, umlo. Lifnei Adonai kiva, kiva lishbot haaretz, yishbot tevel b'tzedek, v'yamim be'emunato.
Continue at the top of page 15. Four lines from the bottom on page 16.
Or zarua la tzadik uyishrei lev simcha. Or zarua la tzadik uyishrei lev simcha. Or zarua la tzadik uyishrei lev simcha. Uyishrei lev simcha. Or zarua la tzadik uyishrei lev simcha. Uyishrei lev simcha. Or zarua la tzadik uyishrei lev simcha. Tzimchu tzadikim baronai v'odu lezecher kodsho.
Continue at the top of page 17. Page 18, 3 lines from the top.
Zamru ladonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra, bechatzotzrot v'kol shofar, hariu lifnei melech Adonai, yiram hayam l'molo, tevel v'yoshvei va, neharot imcha uchav yachad, harim yeranenu, lifnei Adonai kiva, kiva lishbot haaretz, yishbot tevel b'tzedek, ve'amim b'mei sharim, yiram hayam umlo, tevel v'yoshvei va, neharot yimcha uchav yachad, harim yeranenu. Lifnei Adonai kiva, kiva lishbot haaretz, yishbot tevel b'tzedek, ve'amim b'mei sharim.
Continue at the top of page 19. At the mark on page 20.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu.
At the top of page 21, we rise as you are able from Mizmor LeDavid.
Mizmor LeDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, hishtachavu l'Adonai b'hardat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, kol Adonai ba'koach, kol Adonai behadar, kol Adonai shover arazim, v'yishaber Adonai et arzei alvanon, vayirkidem kemo egel, Lebanon v'siron, kemo ven re'emim, kol Adonai chotzef lavot esh, Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar, Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh. Kol Adonai Yecholel Ayalot, Vayechesov Yarot, Uvechelu Kulo Omer Kavod, Adonai Omer Kulo Omer Kavod. Adonai Lama Buyashav, Vayeshev Adonai Melech Leolam, Adonai Oz Le'amu Yitain, Adonai Yevarech et Amu Vashalom.
You may be seated. We're going to continue on page 23 with Lecha Dodi when we officially welcome Shabbat into our midst. We'll do all the verses, 23, 20, on page 23, 24, and 25. On the last verse on page 25, it's customary to rise before the last verse and face the entrance as if we are actually welcoming Shabbat to come straight through that door. So with no further ado, at the top of page 23, we'll start.
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekabela Nekabela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekabela Nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmi anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, Ushmo echad, L'shem utiferet v'litchilal, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekavela Nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Kihi mekor habracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof maaseh b'machshalatila, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekavela Nekavela. Mikdash melech ir melucha, Kumitzei mitoch hafecha, Rav lach shevet be'emek habacha, Vehu yachamol aleichem la, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekavela Nekavela. Ina ari me'afar kumi, Liv shibidei tiftarchech ami, Al yad ben yashi beit chalami, Korva el nafshin ga'ala, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekavela Nekavela. Hitoreri, Kiva orchumi ori, Uri, shir davari, Kavod Adonai alaych niglab, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekavela Nekavela. Lo tevo shiva lo tikalami, Matish chachi umatahimi, Bach yesu ani ami, Venimta ir altili hila, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekavela Nekavela. Vayayulim shia so asaich, V'rachaku kol mavalaich, Yasis alaich Elohayich, Kimusos chatan al kala, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekavela Nekavela. Yaminu smo tifrotzi, Be'et Adonai taritzi, Hayan ish ben partzi, V'nismecha v'nagila, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekavela Nekavela. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, Gam b'simcha uv'tzohola, L'chavnei am segula, Boi chala, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekavela Nekavela.
You may be seated. Continue at the top of page 27.
Mizmor shir leyom hashabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Uzamer leshimcha elyon. Uzamer leshimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chastecha. Ve'emunacha baleilot. Ale asur ve'ale navel. Ale higayon bechinor. Uzmor shir leyom hashabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Uzmor shir leshimcha elyon. Uzmor leshimcha elyon.
Continue at the mark on page 28.
Tzadik tamar yifrach ke'erez balvanon yizgeh shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrifu od yenuvun beseva deshenim verananim yiyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai Zuri velo avlatabo. Miklot Mayim Rabbi Madirim B'Meisharei Yam Madir Mara Adonai Odei Techanem and Meod Livei Techanem Bar Kadosh Adonai Leorech Yamim.
Mourners and those observing yard site may rise as you are able on page 30. Do we have anybody saying the mourners' Kaddish tonight? Yes? Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah b'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael b'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudashah brechu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata damiran b'yalma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We traditionally here at Beth Meyer take a little break in between our Kabbalat Shabbat service and our Mariv service, and Ezra has something to share with us.
Tomorrow I'll be reading my interpretation of the Parsha, but tonight I'd like to share another teen's. This Devar was written by Ilan Rotberg from the USY movement. This week's Parsha, Parshat Noach, is one of the better-known stories in the Torah. God decides that he needs to destroy the world with a huge flood because he feels everyone on the face of the earth is perpetrating gross violence and filthy corruption. However, God finds one righteous man among them, Noah, and instructs him to build an ark that will be home to a pair, one female and one male, of every animal. This ark will serve as a refuge for Noah's family as well as the animals when incoming flood will rid the earth of all life. Rain pours for 40 days and 40 nights, annihilating civilization. Upon the conclusion of the flood, God sends a rainbow, a testimony of his new covenant with man, and the world's renewed. It all makes for an action-packed children's story, but as Jewish teens in an ever-changing world, there are still plenty of lessons we can learn from the Parsha. God's salvation of Noah in particular affirms that there remains a place for Jewish individuality among an ever-adapting secular culture. More than ever before, we as people are constantly clumping ourselves into groups, whether it be by social status, types of interests, political views, etc. We have this constant obsession about associating ourselves with others. Don't get me wrong, hanging out with people we like can be extremely beneficial. Especially as young people, having friends and building a social network is awesome. Yet, in the wake of sometimes too much exposure and assimilation to the mainstream, Jewish teens are losing commitment to our core values and a sense of individuality. In 2013, Pew Research Center found that 1 in 5 Jews now describe themselves as having no religion. Among younger Jews born after 1980, 68% identify as Jews by religion, while 32% describe themselves as having no religion and identity as Jewish on the basis of ancestry, ethnicity, or culture. It shouldn't take a big name think tank analysis to wake up and see that a solid chunk of the Jewish people don't see a place for themselves in the American Jewish community. This notion is not only sad, but heartbreaking, considering the adversity that we have overcome time and time again on a global scale. Essentially, our religion is shrinking, and we need to find a way to reverse the negative effects on our community. In this very parsha, we see that God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. The fact that God perceives the entire flood to be corrupt suggests that every single person had to be assimilated at one point or another into its culture. The reason that God chooses Noah is not because he thinks that Noah is a good builder, smart, or even a good Jew. God chooses Noah because amidst the horrors of a corrupted civilization, he sees righteousness in him. Noah is the one man who doesn't fall for the peer pressure, who doesn't assimilate, who stands for his own values as an individual. As such, he is the only one who God decides is worth saving. God knows that when he moves on to building a new social fabric post-flood, he wants to champion uniqueness and persistent beliefs in one's values. Noah's values are the ones that young Jews today should be striving for. In the wake of the information age, of this vast new culture of assimilation, young Jews must remain strong. We ought to champion our own individuality as a people with no fear because, after all, we have gone thousands of years together without giving in. As teens, we must utilize the example of Noah and many Jewish leaders since to stand firm and realize that despite being small in number, the individuality of our principles must never be watered down.
All right. We'll continue our service tonight on page 39A with the Baruch Hu. Please rise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
You may be seated.
Uma'avir yom uvei laila, umavdil ben kodesh uvein laila, Yadonai tzavot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yomlach aleinu lam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, ma'ariv haravim.
Continue at the top of page 40.
Avat olam beit Yisrael, amcha avta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadetam. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shokveinu u'v'kumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, u'va'orech yameinu, u'vahem negeh yomam v'layla, ve'avtam v'layla. Ve'avtacha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol levacha, uv'chol nafshecha, uv'chol me'odecha, ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha ve'techa, uv'lechtecha v'derech, Uv'shofecha, uv'kumecha, uv'kshartam leot ayadecha, v'hayu letotafot beineinecha, uv'chavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uv'isharecha. Adonai Elohechem emet.
Continue silently through page 43 to the top of page 44.
Uv'malchut Ratzon kiblenu aleihem, Moshe Miriam uvnei Yisrael, lechanu shira b'simcha rabbe Avram ruchulam. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, norah tilot osef eleh. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha bokayam lifnei Moshe, zeli anu ve'amru, Adonai imloch leolam va'ed, v'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, ugalu meyad chazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai, gal Yisrael. Ufros aleinu shukat shalmecha, baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim.
On page 46, at the top of the page, we rise as we are able for Vishamru.
V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam. B'nei u'b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, ki sheisha yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz, uvayom ha'shvi'i shavat vayi nafash.
Continue with the Hatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal vayitkadosh shemei Rabbah. Me'alma divra kirtei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uv'izman kariv v'imiru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach. Le'olam u'me'almaya yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yishramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha brechu le'elam in kol brechata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'alma v'imiru. Amen.
The Friday night Amidah is a silent Amidah. It begins on page 47 and goes on through to page 52. And you may be seated when you've completed your davening.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yaseh shalom,
Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
Ve'imru, amen.
We rise at the top of page 53 for the repetition of the Amidah.
Vayechulu hashamayim ve'aretz v'chol tzivam. Vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa. Vayishbot bayom hashvi'i
Mikol melachto asher asa. Vayavarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i. Vayikadesh oto. Kivo Shabbat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim lasot.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu, Eloheinu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanara, El Elyon Konei Shamayim Va'aretz.
You may be seated.
Magen Avot Bivaro, Mechayim Metim B'Maro, Ha'el HaKadosh Ein Kemohu, Hameniach Le'amo, V'yom Shabbat Kosho, Kivam Ratzah Le'haniach Lahem, Kivam Ratzah Le'haniach Lahem, Lefanav Novod B'Rav V'Chachad, V'nodeh Lishma B'chol Yom Tamid, Me'ein habarchot, El HaHoda'ot, Adon HaShalom, Mekadesh HaShabbat, Umevarech
Umeniach Mikdusha, Liam Mikdusha Oneg, Zecher Lemase Bereshit, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Ritzeh V'Nuchatenu, Kachinu b'mitzvotecha, V'ten chelkeinu b'toratecha, Saveinu b'tshuvatecha, V'samcheinu b'shuatecha, V'taher libeinu l'odecha emet, V'aniach mileinu Adonai Eloheinu, V'yavav ratzon Shabbat kodshecha, V'yanuchu Yisrael, Mekadshei shemecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Hadish Shalem.
Yikadal v'ikadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'amad yivrach yirtei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon yivamachon v'chayedech beit Yisrael ba'agalos v'man kari v'imeru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam omei omaya yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yanasei v'yitadar v'yitalev shv'yitalal shmei d'kudesha b'reichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tishbechata v'nechemata damiran v'alma v'imeru. Amen. Tit kabal soton uvatachon kol Yisrael kadamu v'hon v'yishmaya v'imeru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'ramav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen.
Usually it's our custom here to invite students who are underneath bar bat mitzvah age up for Kiddush on Friday nights, but I think that we will invite any classmates of Ezra's to also join us on the bima for Kiddush tonight, as well as those younger than bar bat mitzvah age. You get the big fancy one. No? Okay. All right, please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'alva uratzon, v'lanu zikaron l'maseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu bacharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shavat kodshecha, ve'ava uvratzon, hinchiltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha'shabbat.
We continue standing for Aleinu on page 56.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atid gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kuye haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpatot ha'adama, shelo samanu kahen, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, ve'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamachim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu notei shamayim v'yoseh haaretz, u'masha yikaro b'shamayim imahal, u'shinatu zo, v'govei meromim, hu Eloheinu Eino, emet malkeinu efes gvulato, kadatu b'torato, v'edat hayom v'edat hayom, v'shevota levavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim imahal, ve'haaretz mitach Ein od. Hagatu v'toratecha Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai le'melech kol haaretz, v'yom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
I'd like to invite anybody who would like to join me for our second Mourner's Kaddish of the evening to rise in honor of those who have lost their lives in the conflict in Israel over the last week or so. On page 58. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah b'alma divrach hirutei yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye d'chol beit Yisrael Bagala uvizman kari vimru amen. Yehe shmei rabba mivarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha brechu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya b'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. We have some announcements. First, a special thank you to the Stampler family for sponsoring both the Oneg tonight and the Kiddush tomorrow in honor of Ezra's bar mitzvah. Thank you to you, and mazel tov to Ezra. I think we can all agree he's done a wonderful job tonight, so give him all of your high fives later. We have a couple things coming up Sunday. There's an opportunity to learn with Rabbi Eric. This is going to be here in the library on campus, but also available on Zoom. What is that? Zoom. Join Rabbi Eric for When Bad Things Happen to Good People. It's a dive into Harold Kushner's book on how to believe in God when it seems beyond belief. You do not have to have read the book to participate. We are also starting a 4-class series on the Jewish wisdom of dying, death, and mourning. That begins this coming Monday, noon to 1 p.m. on Zoom. We're calling this a lunch and learn, but it's on Zoom, so you lunch in your home. Like, we're not feeding you and sending home food. So lunch at your home, but like join us on Zoom for that. That's with Rabbi Jenny, and it's going to explore Jewish ideas, customs, laws, and rituals associated with death and mourning. And then finally, we have our, I think it's our first senior luncheon of the year. Yes, I think it is. Our first senior luncheon of the year is going to be on Tuesday from noon to 1:30 in the social hall. Behind the scenes in the governor's office, we have a special guest coming today, Sadie Weiner, who's the director of external affairs for Governor Roy Cooper, and she's going to talk to us about what it's like behind the scenes. What do we not see on the TV cameras? To register for the senior luncheon, just give Carol a call in the office and let her know that you're coming. So those are our announcements for tonight, unless anybody else has anything else that they would like to share. Sisterhood Brunch, I believe registration is closed, and they're not really like encouraging walk-ins. I mean, they wouldn't fight them off at the door, but we're not pushing it at this time. Anything else? All right, well, with no further ado, then we will conclude our service with Yigdal on page 62.
Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach nimtza ve'ein et el mitziuto echad ve'ein yachid ke'ichudo na'olam v'gam ein sof le'achduto ein lo demut haguf ve'eino guf lo na'aroch elav kedushato Kadmon lechol davar asher nivra Rishon vein reshit lereshito Hino adon olam vechol notzar Yoreg edulato umalchuto Shefer benuato netano El anshe segulato vetifarto Lo kam Yisrael kemoshe od
Naviu
Meet et timunato Torah temet natan le'amoel
Al yad nevi'o neman beito
Lo yachalifa el velo yamir dato Leo amim ulazulato Sofer v'yodea sitarenu Mavit l'sof davar bekadmato Gomel ish chesed kemifalo Noten l'rash hara grishato Yishlach l'ketz yamin mishichenu Livdod mechakeket yeshuato Meitim yechael berov chasto Baruch adei ad shem tehilato Meitim yechael berov chasto Baruch adei ad shem tehilato.
Shabbat Shalom. Please join us in the social hall for Oneg. Yasher Koach.
busy inside. It was very busy inside.